Hello. So today I wanted to share a practice with you that honored one of the yamas. Let me grab the book again. And some of you all perhaps have started reading this, or maybe you are reading this, the yamas and the niyamas. So those are just some of the restraints and observances of the yoga practice. And if you join me in any of the other classes before, I talked a little bit about a few of the other yamas, nonviolence, as well as non-attachment. And so today I wanted to just touch on the yoga principle of Brahmacharya, which has been interpreted as non-excess, perhaps moderation, and then also just the practice of taking what you need to sustain your energy. And so for today's practice, I wanted to practice and just be mindful of our body sensations, what's going on within our body to sustain our practice for today. So let's get started. We'll come to the top of our mat. And before I actually get started, I wanted to just cue you all to a wonderful pose that can help you, which many of you all probably know about already, that can help you sustain your energy and kind of reel your energy back in. So the pose of child's pose is a wonderful pose to sustain your energy, kind of recoup your energy. And how you can come into that pose is bringing your toes together, knees wide, and your arms can be outstretched, palms facing down. And if you want like a higher stretch in your upper back, and perhaps if your legs are a little bit tight, you can keep your bottom kind of up off the ground and just sinking down and surrendering, kind of recouping your energy. And then if it feels good to sink all the way back down, bringing your bottom down. So this is a pose that I'll cue and weave into our practice today throughout, so we can practice tuning into our body sensations and sustaining our energy for practice. Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't actually introduce myself. My name is Elizabeth, and I'm so happy to be here today to join you all in this practice. It's a beautiful day where I am right now. I'm in northern Minnesota, and I'm actually really eager to get outside and start our sugar bush practicing of tapping our maple trees and making maple sugar. So if I could show you, I actually have a sugar bush in my backyard as well. So it's a beautiful day here. So I'm so happy to join this practice with you all. So as we get started, coming to the top of our mat, feet hip width distance apart, arms at our sides, softening your gaze, or even closing your eyes if that feels good to you. Taking a few moments to tune into your body. How are you feeling today? Perhaps what is your energy level? Perhaps observing some feelings or even physical body sensations throughout your body. Just checking in with yourself today. To begin to connect our breath with our movement, we'll inhale, bringing your arms overhead. Nice, smooth, long inhale, and exhale, bringing your hands to heart center. Nice, smooth inhale, arms come up to the top, and exhale, bringing your hands back down. being mindful of our body sensations, checking in. How are we feeling today? We connect our breath with our movement. So wonderful to see so many people on our class today. Welcome, everyone. Just going into your own pace for a few more breaths. One more inhale. Nice, smooth, slow, all the way to the top, and then exhale, letting it all go. Okay. So again, we're going to, from time to time, I'll cue us into sustaining our energy. So if you ever need to come out of a pose and take a break, a good pose to come into is child's pose. Okay, so we'll begin with our forward fold. Inhale, bringing our arms overhead. Exhale, hinging at the hips, forward fold, bringing your arms down to the mat. Bend in your knees if that feels good. Just letting your upper body be nice and relaxed. Letting your spine decompress here. Another good energy sustaining pose, forward fold. If we would like to bring our hands to our elbows, kind of hang like a rag doll here. Continuing to breathe throughout. When you're ready, bring your fingertips in front of your feet. We'll step our right foot back into a lunge, left knee stacked over our left ankle, arms at either side of our foot, coming down on your right knee if you would like to, or keeping it up for that high lunge. And then bringing your left leg back to meet your right, coming into high plank, hands directly underneath your shoulders. And again, coming down for a modified plank onto your knees if that feels good. Keeping your energy perhaps for a breath. Inhale, come down into your first Chaturanga. And back up to high plank. Chaturanga to up dog. Shoulders away from your ears. Breathing into this pose, feeling the wonderful stretch in our lower back. Gaze to the front. Then engage your toes and press back to down dog. As we press through our hands, pressing away from the mat. We have a slight bend in our knees if that feels good. Sinking down a little bit lower perhaps. Maybe walking the dog. Bending our right and left legs one at a time. Then we'll bring our right leg up to the air and then bring it through. Lunge on the right side, right knee stacked over right ankle, engaging our left glute to square our hips, shoulders away from our ears, coming down onto your knee at any point in time if that feels good. Then bringing your left leg up to meet your right, forward fold. A nice restoring breath here. We inhale, bring our hands to heart center and round up to Tadasana. Okay, do the same thing on The other side, arms at our sides to begin. Inhale, bring your arms overhead. Hands at the waist, forward fold. This forward fold position, another good restorative energy sustaining pose to come into. Bringing your fingertips to the top of the mat. Left leg comes back this time, right leg in lunge, engaging that left hip. Then bringing your right leg back to meet your left. Hands underneath your shoulders in your high plank or coming down for modified if that feels good. Coming down to your first chaturanga, elbows grazing your ribs. And pressing back up to high plank. And chaturanga to up dog. Gazes forward, shoulders away from your ears. And engage those toes behind you. And press back to down dog. Preparing on the left side, bringing your left leg into the air and bringing it through for a lunge. And if at any point in time you would like to drop your right knee down, please do so. Left knee stacked over left ankle, gazes forward, shoulders away from your ears, engaging that right glute. Square your hips a bit. Then bring your right leg up to meet your left, forward fold. On your next inhale, hands to heart center and round up. Okay. We'll prepare to do the same thing with a twist this time. Recouping our energy here for one more breath. Inhale. And exhale. And on your next inhale, bring your arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. And then fingertips to the top of the mat. Bring your right leg back. Left leg in a runner's lunge. Left knee stacked over left ankle. And bring your left leg back to meet your right. High plank. You can come down onto your knees for modified plank. And then come down into your chaturanga, elbows grazing your ribs. Pressing back up to high plank. Chaturanga to up dog. And we'll engage our toes, pressing back to down dog. For runner's lunge with a twist this time. Right leg comes into the air, bringing it through to our hands. And from here, our hands are on either side of our right leg, engaging that left glute to make our hips nice and square. Right knee stacked over right ankle. This time, plant your left hand on the mat. And if at any point in time you need to come down onto your left knee, please do so. Inhale, and then exhale, twisting to the right, bringing your right arm up towards the sky. Gaze comes either to the right or following your fingertips up towards the sky. Making sure our base is nice and stable, hips are square. And bring your right hand back down to the mat. Bring your left leg up to meet your right. Forward fold. Pausing for just a moment. Sustaining our energy. Checking in with our body throughout. Bring your hands to your chest. Round up. Tadasana. Okay. Do the same thing on the other side. Arms at our sides, palms facing out. Inhale, bring your arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Breathing. Fingertips come to the mat. Bring your left leg back this time. Right leg, right knee stacked over right ankle, engaging that left glute to square our hips. And bring your right leg back to meet your left. Hands directly underneath your shoulders in your high plank. Chaturanga. To high plank. Chaturanga to up dog. And engaging your toes, pressing back to down dog. Okay, preparing for the twist, runner's lunge with a twist on our left side. At any point in time, if you need to come into child's pose, any kind of restorative pose, please do so. Left leg comes into the air. Bring it through to your hands. Left knee stacked over left ankle. Hands at either side of your left foot. Engaging that right glute to square your hips. Planting your right hand down on the mat. Twisting to the left. Gaze comes up to the sky or over to the left. And then bringing your left hand back down to the mat. Framing that left foot. And bring your right leg up to meet your left. Forward fold. Taking a moment here. And we'll round up to Tadasana. Okay. So next we'll come into a few balancing poses. So somewhere perhaps in the middle of your mat, or if you want to stay at the top of your mat, I'll just face you so you can see me a little bit better. We'll do a few different squat poses here. Bring your arms parallel to the ground, palms facing down, feet directly underneath your hips. And just imagine there's a chair behind you and you're slowly sitting down into that chair. Come down a little bit farther. Continue to breathe. Another wonderful way to sustain our energy is focus our breath. Come back up to standing. And you shake your arms out for just a moment. And this time, if you would like to try in your squat position, arms parallel to the ground, palms facing down, you can try coming up to your toes just a little bit. Sometimes that means just lifting your heels off the mat just a little bit. Or if you would like to come higher onto your toes, if that balance is there for you, feel the balance, then sink down into that squat. Looks good, guys. Strong legs. Pressing up. This time we'll come into a pose called awkward pose. With your feet hip width distance apart underneath you, coming on to the balls of your feet or just lifting your heels a tiny bit off the ground. Arms parallel to the ground in front of you. Bring your knees together. It might feel pretty awkward, hence the name. And then sit down into that chair, even if it's just a few inches. Coming down. Continuing to breathe, sustaining that energy. And pressing up to standing, lowering those heels back down to the mat. Okay. Next we'll come into tree pose. So for tree pose, you can do a couple different leg placements. And this time our left leg will be the tree trunk. Our left foot is the roots, imagining the roots going into the ground. We're propping our right leg up like a kickstand. And we can place that left or that right foot just above your heel, the inner part of your left heel. Or if you would like to try farther up on your leg, just not going to your knee, either below your knee or above your knee, bringing your foot, placing it on the inner part of your left leg, arms in whatever tree formation you would like to bring them. Branches outstretched above you, perhaps maybe hands at heart center to center and ground you. Continue to breathe. Be like a tree, sustaining your energy through the winter. And then bringing your right leg down, meet your left. We'll do the same thing on our other side. Right leg is the tree trunk, right foot are the roots. Propping that left leg open, like a kickstand, either low to the ground, perhaps higher up, just not on the knee. And growing your branches, maybe up to the sky, even coming into like cactus arms. Full expression of how your tree is feeling today. Okay, left leg comes back down to meet your right. Walk it out, shake it out a little bit. Okay. So next we'll come into standing bow. So for this pose, I'll face you again. I think it'll be the best view. So arms at your sides, feet underneath you. First, we'll bring our right arm turned out, palm facing out, grabbing our left ankle. And if we have a wall or a chair or something we want in front of us to give us a little balance, we can do so. Bring your right leg up and grasping it right in the crux of your ankle behind you. Hips are nice and square. Bring your left arm up to the sky. Or if we need a little more balance, we can bring a chair in front of us and place it on a chair. Inhale, and as we exhale, kicking that right leg into our right hand, slowly coming forward just a bit. The momentum from our right leg kicking into our right hand. Continuing to breathe. Our breath can help us sustain our energy. Then coming back down. Right leg comes down to meet your left. We'll do the same thing on our left side. Keeping our arms at either side. This time bring your left leg up. Palm facing out. And just grabbing our left ankle, or the crux of our ankle. Right arm comes into the sky. Or perhaps if we would like to rest it on something in front of us. And then as we kick into our left hand, we come forward just a bit. And keep our hips nice and square. Oh, you guys have some beautiful standing bows. Looking good, guys. And then coming down. Left leg comes down to meet to your right. Walk it out. Okay. So next we will come down onto our mat. So I think I'm gonna change my video position again because it always feels a little bit more intimate when I can have you guys right next to me and I can see you even better. Okay. Okay. All right. So we'll come into a boat position. We'll get some core work in. All right. So feet propped up in front of you. Soles of your feet down to the floor. Look good. There's a couple different ways you can do your boat. So first, sitting up nice and tall. Just slowly, with a flat back, lower your back just to a place where you start to feel your core engage. Arms outstretched in front of you. You can bring one leg up at a time. Continue to breathe into it. If you'd like to try bringing both legs up, you can. We'll stay here for a few breaths. About nice strong core. Good job, guys. holding our boat pose. And breathe. Breathe directly into those spaces that need it. Nice strong core, strong back, then release. Do this a few different times if you want to try a different pose. All right, so arms outstretched in front of you, leaning back. Now another pose, let's see if I can keep my balance. You can try grabbing your toes. Bring your legs out in front of you, keeping your shoulders away from your ears. Now this one more feels like a balancing pose. I feel it in my core, but I definitely feel other places where I'm trying to balance. So if you want to try that one, you can, or just come into your other formation of your boat pose. Breathing into it. Breathing into that strong core, strong back. Definitely working up a sweat here. And then releasing it. Okay, one more time. Arms outstretched, leaning back. Preparing, then lift your legs to whatever position, even if they're just a little bit off the mat. There you go. Oh, I love the different variations, guys. It looks awesome. Breathing into that strong core, strong back, and release. Okay. All right. So next, we're gonna lay down, just kind of massage that lower back before we come into a bridge pose. So slowly coming back vertebrae by vertebrae, maybe holding on to our hamstrings, our legs. Bring our knees into our body. Massage that lower back a little bit. Sure. Strong core, strong back exercise. Okay. So next we're going to come into bridge. If you have a block and you would like to try this pose with bridge where it's a little bit more passive and it still feels really good, you can. So bringing your feet propped up below you, arms at either side, palms facing down. Slowly lifting your pelvis up off the floor, coming into your bridge pose, and we'll stay here for a few breaths. So if you would like to interlock your fingers underneath, you can. And then the more passive pose, if you want to try it, depending on how high your bridge is, bringing your block right underneath with your tailbone, or even flat. Continue to breathe. Strong glutes, strong legs. One more breath in. And out. And we'll release for just a moment. And we'll come back into it again. If you want to try a few of the different variations, you can just play with it and see if you like any of the other variations. So lifting your pelvis up off the floor, maybe palms facing down to the floor, maybe interlock fingers underneath, maybe your block is underneath you. You want to just have a restorative pose to sustain our energy, pressing into those from your feet, pressing, feeling our glutes engage. And then release. All right, and we'll come into it one more time. If you want to do a little massage on our lower back before we come into it again, we can. Always making your practice your own. Okay, last time. Here we go. Pressing our pelvis up for bridge, engaging those glutes, those legs. Heart is open to the sky. You need to breathe into those spaces that really need some extra tension here. Do not focus to those places sometimes gives us a little bit more energy, a little bit more strength. Of course, breathing into them. And then release. And for sure here, bringing your legs into your body, rocking back and forth, maybe even coming into a happy baby pose. I like the happy baby pose because it makes the massage a little bit wider on my lower back. And slowly bring your legs down. Okay. So we're going to do legs up the wall pose. And if you have a wall space, you can use the wall, of course. But if you don't, you can for sure do this pose without a wall. And I'll show you both ways. We're going to do this for about 3 minutes. So I'll demonstrate both before we get started. So if you're doing just, legs up into the air, a little bend in your legs, kind of imagining there's a wall on the other side of you, making your legs fairly straight. However your arm placement feels good, just do that. But if you come to the wall, the way that I like to get my bottom as close to the wall as possible is coming to it about sideways like this. And then as I lay down, I will shift, kind of scoot sideways. There you go. So my bottom is really close to the wall. I can either keep my legs a little bit bent, straighten them out a little bit, and we'll get started here. We'll do 3 minutes with this restorative pose, energy sustaining, wonderful pose for many different benefits. Wonderful for circulation, getting the fluids away from our feet in this inversion. We spend so much time in the other direction, and our feet and our legs are so essential to many things that we do, just giving them this opportunity to relax and take some pressure off of them. This is again the kind of pose that you can do for as long as you like, really, even up to 15 minutes. Got a little over a minute left. But of course, if at any point in time you would like to take a longer time in any pose, please do so, or even coming out of a pose early. A few more breaths here. And our 3 minutes will be up. Okay. So slowly Making your way away from the wall, or just bringing your legs down nice and slow. We'll stay on our backs on our mat. Do a few more stretching poses as we wind down. So first, bring your both legs outstretched below you. Bring your right knee, interlocking your fingers underneath your right knee, and just gently pulling it into your body. Maybe doing some ankle rolls here to the right, and then evening it out and going to the left. Okay. And we'll keep our left hand on our right knee here. Bring it across our body. Gently. Bring your right arm out to a T. And then as we cross our left leg, doing our best to keep our shoulders flush up against the mat. We can keep our left arm on the right knee, or we can bring it out to a T. This often will isolate that lower lumbar spine twist. Couple more breaths. And we'll bring that right arm up off the mat, bringing it all the way across our body, and then bringing it all the way to meet our left hand. Just pausing for a moment here as we're on our side. And then, as we open our arm back up, coming back into that T, arms at a T, you might notice that the shift of the twist has moved to our upper thoracic spine. Continue to breathe into those spaces that are getting a good stretch here. And bring both legs back down below you or up into a little ball. Maybe gently rocking for just a moment until we even it out and go on the other side. We'll outstretch our right leg this time. Left knee comes into our body, interlocking our fingers right below, and just gently pulling it in. Perhaps rolling our ankle from one direction to the other. And pausing for just a moment. And as we keep our right hand onto our left knee, outstretch our left arm to the side, gently bringing our left knee across our body to the right. And either keeping your hands close to your legs there or outstretching both arms out to a T. Depending on where you're feeling this, could be different places. I actually often feel things in my left hip flexor whenever I'm anywhere near there. So I feel it not only in my lower spine, but also in my left hip flexor. Continuing to breathe into it, into those spaces that need a little extra attention here. And then we'll bring our left arm across, meeting our right. Just pausing for a moment. We're on our right side here. I'm going to open our arm back up, perhaps noticing a shift in this stretch and this twist from our lower to now our upper spine. And continuing to breathe into the stretch. Then we'll come back to a neutral pose. Perhaps bringing our knees back into our body, just hugging one more time. And we'll bring our legs below us, coming into our final pose, Shavasana. One of the ultimate good poses for bringing energy back to our body, restorative pose, to rest and rebuild. As we're here, I invite you to check back in with your body, your sensations, perhaps your emotions. Noticing your energy level here. As we observe, not passing any judgment on any of those different sensations or feelings, just observing them. And just staying in your Shavasana pose for as long as you need. If you're ready to start bringing some small movement back to your body, wiggling your fingers and toes. And gently rocking your head side to side. When you're ready, maybe bring your knees into your body and slowly rolling on to one side or the other. And resting on your hands for a pillow. In our last restorative pose here. Fetal position. And when you're ready, gently pressing yourself up to seated. And as we end today, ending and closing your practice in any way that you would like, I will say thank you, Miigwech, for joining me today.